Okay, let's get this crystal bugger tying. I've already got the 020 lead and my cone head tied in. I'm going to tie in a marabou tail. I'm actually going to measure this out, and then I'm going to start it near the front of the hook so I can just build up a little bit of the body, give it a little bit of texture before I wrap over it with my chenille. Just going to wind back till I'm right above the barb of the hook. Then I normally put one wrap under just to kind of set that flush. I come through and trim my marabou. Just get rid of all this excess. While I'm doing that, I'll just keep the scissors and I grab a few strands of black crystal flash. After I get them cut, I'm actually going to simply fold them over the thread and then tie them in so they're facing the back of the hook. So I've just kind of doubled them over. Once I have them locked in there, I'm just going to make sure they're kind of all flying all over the place and they're all heading towards the back. I do want to make sure a few are showing on each side. Okay, once I have those in place, I'm going to finalize this fly with this chenille. This is commonly called either crystal chenille or ice chenille. I'm just going to tie it in one of the ends. Some guys will use some hackle over this. In this case, I am not. It's not because I don't like hackle over it, but it's simply because this chenille that I'm using really has some, as you'll notice in a second, some very long fibers. I think that really takes the place of any of the hackle that I could use. So once I have this in here, I could use my rotary vise to turn it, but I'm simply going to do it by hand. Every few wraps, I'm just going to pull the fibers back just to make sure I'm not matting them down. Right there you can see they're starting to get matted down. And I'm going to bring this the whole way up to the front just to make sure I lock that cone head in place. Sometimes those cones will get a little loose because you don't have a lot of stuff holding them in. This time I'll just put a couple extra wraps at the front. Kind of build that up just a little bit so there'll be a few more fibers shooting off. Okay, let me get my hand out of the way for you. I make a couple wraps just to lock this in place. Then whenever I trim, I'm going to first trim that, come back, pull the crystal flash tight, trim it right at the tips. Then I'll come back to the front of the fly, hold everything down, put 1/2 inch. I'm just going to pull down a little bit, whip finish it. I will add probably just a little bit of head cement to this fly once I'm all finished. But for now, that is the finished fly. Again, you could use some hackle, but I choose not to because, as you can see, this is a really crazy this ice chenille that I'm using, and it really takes off. Once it's wet, it will mat down, and everything will fish really nice. All right, thanks for viewing this 2-minute fly, the crystal bugger. Hope you have lots of luck using this pattern. Thanks, everybody.